Morning, everybody. Back to the collector. Chapter 26, 27, and 28. You're going to love it here, Vanessa said. Her voice sounded different, like she was talking to me from the bottom of a well. Even though she was standing right next to me in the hallway, she sounded so very far away. The hallway. The hallway in Beryl's house. My skin went cold. Wait, how could I be cold in a dream? I looked behind me, hoping to find the door, but the hallway stretched out forever into darkness. That's when I realized there weren't any dolls in the hall, and Vanessa wasn't doll-like. My panic started to ease up. Maybe this wasn't a nightmare after all. Maybe it was just a normal dream. But if it was a normal dream, why was I realizing it was a dream at all? Come on, Vanessa said. She took my hand. Her fingers were terribly cold on my skin, and firm. She started walking down the hall, and I had no choice but to follow. We seemed to walk forever, but the hall didn't change, and the doors we passed remained closed. Where are we going? I asked. My voice shook. Even if this wasn't scary, it was hard to believe it wasn't a nightmare. Her voice was so distant, and as cold as her fingers. To your room, she said. I have a room, I said, my words faltering. Your new room in your new home. She looked over and smiled at me. Her eyes were glassy as a doll's. Your new friends are waiting. My feet stumbled. I didn't like the way she said it. Despite my hesitation, we kept walking. I couldn't stop if I wanted to. We passed by a door that wasn't fully closed. The doors were covered in locks. Inside was a glass case, but I didn't get the chance to see what was inside it before being dragged away. What's in there? I asked. Nothing, Vanessa replied. She gripped my hand tighter and pulled faster. Soon we were running, and the hall kept stretching on, and my skin was coated in sweat. Not just because I was out of shape, but because there was something running up behind us. Something growling. Something chasing us. I knew then exactly what it was. Beryl had gotten inside. I ran faster. We had to hide. We had to find safety. But the hallways stretched on, and all the doors were locked, and I could feel Beryl now in the hallway with us. So close. So close. I knew that if I looked behind us, whatever I saw would be so terrifying, I would freeze up. I could feel it in my bones. A door at the end of the hall opened. We rushed in. My heart wanted to pound out of my chest. It wasn't until the door slammed shut behind us that I realized we weren't any safer in here. There was a reason there were no dolls in the hallway. They were all in the room. Locked in. With us. The beast chasing us thudded into the door with a crash. Slam! 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 Vanessa leaned against it. She was panting. Don't worry, she said, her voice somehow calm, despite her ragged breath. You're safe in here. This is your room. You'll always be safe from her in your room. And it was my room. It had the same high ceilings, the same bare walls, the same big bed. Except in here, the floor was carpeted with dolls, all of them lying broken and mismatched, like there had been a terrible accident. They weren't what made me forget about the monster outside. On my bed was a life-size doll. Blonde hair and ringlets, brown eyes. She looked exactly like Karen Little. Let's be friends forever, the doll said. She smiled, and her face cracked. Vanessa's hand clamped over my mouth. Before I could scream, the room went dark. Chapter 27. Vanessa slept like a rock. I woke up before her to the smell of Mom brewing coffee in the kitchen, which always woke me up. I had slept so well, which was strange because I usually couldn't sleep at all during sleepovers. But if I slept well, Vanessa must have slept even better. She lay there, still as a statue, on her back, and for a moment I wondered if she was even breathing. Then I saw her chest move, and that made me look at the locket she always wore. I found it strange that she even wore it to bed. It was simple, tarnished gold. Nothing really cool, and it always seemed to clash with what she was wearing at school, but maybe that was why she wore it, to make her stand out because she didn't match. Something about it seemed off, though. And something about that made me want to reach out and touch it, which was weird because I was there, staring at my new friend while she was asleep. What if she woke up and saw me watching? I turned over and looked at the nightstand. I was relieved to find that there wasn't any doll sitting there beside my alarm clock. I guessed that Anna hadn't been brave enough to try sneaking in while Vanessa was staying over. Either that, or she was so upset she'd quit trying. I hoped it was the latter. I didn't want to have to keep fighting her about it. I sat up. Vanessa didn't move. I stretched. Still no movement. For a moment, I considered just trying to fall back asleep, but I could hear Mom clattering around in the kitchen now. And if today was anything like the days back in Chicago when I had friends over, that meant she was going to make chocolate chip pancakes for breakfast. And I couldn't miss that. I gave Vanessa a little shake. She didn't move. I tried again, this time saying her name. Again, no movement. Her skin was cold, and even though I knew she was breathing, it still creeped me out. Finally, I gave her a big shake and called her name even louder. I expected her to wake up with a screech. That's what I would have done, but she just blinked open her eyes like she was being gently awoken from a nap. So weird. Good morning, she said, and just like that, she sat up and was wide awake. So weird. We went and brushed our teeth and then went down for breakfast. I was right. Mom had made chocolate chip pancakes. Anna was already sitting at the table playing with her teddy bear. Grandma Jeannie wasn't there, and she wasn't on the back patio either. Maybe she was still in bed. Suddenly, I felt guilty that I'd been happy she was away last night. What if she was getting really sick? Then Mom served up the pancakes, and my guilt vanished. Once more, Vanessa asked all the questions. Mom seemed more than happy to talk about things, so we spent the morning telling Vanessa about Chicago and some of the shows we'd seen and the type of job Mom was looking for and how long Mom thought we would stay here. That made me pause and listen carefully. How long was Mom thinking of keeping us here? She'd never admitted anything before. I don't know, Mom said eventually. What do you mean, Vanessa asked casually. Well, it depends on how my mom is doing, and if I can get a job back in Chicago, she paused, or here. My mouth fell open. The way she said it made it sound like she was actually planning on staying here, not just for the rest of the school year, but forever. I couldn't imagine Mom ever finding a job in a town this small that would make her happy. She used to work with a big investment firm in Chicago, and she said she loved it. I couldn't imagine this place offering anything like that. And yet, I also had no doubt that she would stay here for Grandma. I looked at Vanessa. She looked at me. I could tell we were having the same thought. On the one hand, we were happy that we got to be friends for a while. On the other, it felt like both of us were trapped. Chapter 28. It was after breakfast when Grandma Jeannie came down. Vanessa and I were in the backyard playing on the swing set while Mom and Anna cleaned up. Anna definitely didn't want to help, but Mom made her. I knew before the porch door even opened that it was Grandma Jeannie. I knew because Vanessa immediately stopped swinging. She went as stiff as when she had been sleeping. When I turned and looked at Grandma, she was just as still as Vanessa. She had her cane in one hand and a sun tea in the other. How, Grandma stuttered. You shouldn't be here. She shouldn't. Vanessa clicked into action then. She looked from Grandma Jeannie to me. I should go, she said. She hopped off the swing. No, wait, I said. It's okay. But Vanessa didn't complete her sentence. At that moment, Grandma Jeannie dropped her glass. It shattered to the porch, making me jump. How are you, Grandma? I kept repeating. I couldn't focus on her, though. Vanessa was already running, but not toward the patio or the house. She was running straight into the woods. Vanessa, I called. She didn't stop or look back. I watched her go. I knew she was going home, but it almost looked like she was some wild creature running into the forest for safety from a predator. I turned back to Grandma. I didn't know if I wanted to yell at her for scaring off my friend or ask her what was wrong. I didn't get a chance. It's happening again, she said, just loud enough for me to hear. Then she fell to the ground. That's it for today. See you guys tomorrow.